Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Checking In. I'm Leon with Miranda Kitterlin Lynch. You're here for Checking In. Hi, Miranda, how are you?
I am great, Leon. How's it going on your end?
Everything is groovy. It's getting a little cold north of
Okay.
Baltimore. We had like 5 inches of snow earlier this week, and it's cold now. I don't like that. I can't do anything about it either.
Well, you know where you live, so
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but everything is good. How about you?
it's good. The weather here has been pretty bipolar. It's been in the 20s early in the week, and then today it's like shorts and t-shirt weather. Like it just cannot decide which way it's going to go. So,
Right on.
uh,
Nice. Nice.
but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
so excited for our show today.
Yeah. This is going to be a good show. I'm excited too. Now, tell me what episode is this? Episode number? Where are we at?
I'm going to call it 167.
Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it. For some reason, I thought you were going to go 6'7". It's six
I,
six seven.
That's why I said 167. I volunteered in my youngest class to watch the class while they were
Right.
doing their testing. So I'm basically substituting for a second grade class. And I seriously heard them say 6'7" at least 167 times.
Yeah.
And I was just like, these are all amazing, great kids, but I'm stimulated. I have to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the kids of the racquetball program, we hope the score is never 6-7. We hope it's never six serving seven
Oh my gosh.
because they're like 6-7. I'm like, ugh. You know, how some buildings don't have a 13th floor button on the elevator,
Right,
right? We
right.
may change. We may play to 16 now and skip 6, right? I don't know. It's crazy, but folks, if you want to be on the show, you can send me an email. My name again is Leon. Send me an email. The email address for me is Leon at the LeonThomasGroup.com. And Miranda.
Oh, don't make me say it. I'm going to
Okay.
say it. Just Google me. I'm the
Just
only
Google
one you're
her.
going to find, not
Just Google
because
her.
I'm special or important, but because it's the only Miranda Kitterlin Lynch. I
You're the
mean,
only one. You're the only one. That's it. Right on. All right. It's now time to bring our guest on.
hi. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Oh,
Uh-oh. Your microphone is muted, and that's okay.
And we're unmuted.
yay.
Guys.
Amazing, amazing. I feel like I say this all the time, but you are one of my favorite people to bring into the classroom. And I'm so glad that we get to have you on the show because I walk away inspired, excited, having learned something new from every conversation. So welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me again. I always love talking to your students. They're always so inquisitive and receptive. And and I think that I think in comparison to many other people and many of the peers in my industry, I definitely have my own perspective and point of view. I have a different function than most people do.
I love it. But before we jump into anything further, please, for everybody listening, share with us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Ani Meinhold, and I am the co-founder of Matt Fuchs Hospitality Group. We've just recently launched it, actually. We are owner-operated over 4 brands. So we have Fukia, which is our brick and mortar flagship location. It is Miami's original restaurant pop-up, born in 2011, pre-years of social media, believe it or not. And now we're at a brick and mortar location on 7100, turning almost 10 years. 4-time Michelin awarded. And that's sort of like the muscle of the group. And then we have Faux Show, which is our over-the-counter fast casual concept for pho and noodles. We have been around for the last 5 years approximately, and we're also primarily in food halls and malls and stuff like that. But now we're also building out a brick and mortar location. We have Lucky Chicken, which is our catering and pop-up concept. And we have Micini, which is our cocktail lounge.
So you have lots of free time.
Yeah, tons. Buckets of them. They're raining on us.
This is amazing. Tell me, I know the story, but for everybody listening, share with us, how did you get to where you are today? Because you are arguably very, very successful in a space that is not always easy for anyone to make it in.
Well, you know, I'm definitely a hospitality brat. I was the apple that fell next to the tree, and my dad was in hotels. And even though I always said, no, I'm not going to do what you do, Papa, you know, by the time I got to the States, I was bored out of my tears and I had no friends. And there was a hospitality strike in New York City in 1994. And my dad was like, you want to work? And I was like, sure. So 14 years old, 1994, making $17 an hour tax-free, doing something that was so easy for me, was just a natural evolution into college and into, you know, by the time I finished school, I got into an MIT program with Ritz-Carlton. By the time I was 24, I was general manager of my first restaurant. I've done everything from, you know, being a cook for X amount of years to having to wash dishes, to being a hostess, to busing. I mean, I've done everything under the sun. And I opened my first business with my partner, Caesar, when I was 29 years old. And I've been doing it on my own ever since. We've been doing it on our own ever since.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Leon?
What was the first job? You said that you were making $17 an hour tax-free. What was that gig? What were you doing? My first job in hospitality, I was actually a ticket taker at a movie theater. I had to wear a polyester light blue, powder blue blazer and go down the hall to the right, down the hall to the left. What was your first gig? That $17 an hour one.
Technically, my first job was folding towels and cleaning bathrooms when I was 11 years old at the El San Juan Hotel in Puerto Rico, because I wanted more money. My parents were giving me a $5 allowance, and I said, can I get more? And they said, we're not having that, young lady. If you want more money, you need to work. And so I worked. Now, was that a job? No, that wasn't a job. But was that something I did consistently for more money? 1000%. But I was 11 years old. Okay. My first official job was this job when I was 14, and I was a guest services coordinator at the Drake Hotel in New York City. And this was in the summer of 1994, in the middle of a hotel strike. And I was answering phones in a hotel that my dad was overseeing and managing, and organizing the delivery of whatever guests needed from a triple set of telephones with 6 lines on them. So it was all logistics. It was about smiling when you were answering the phone, no matter how unsavory the other person on the other end was. You know, if you smile on the telephone, people think you're smiling when you're talking to them anyway, no matter what kind of a day you're having too. And then coordinating those requests amongst all the different departments. And yeah, so to be able to do it successfully as a 14-year-old, one would say that was telling.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And what an opportunity, you know? Yeah. I feel like a lot of us get here accidentally. Leon will tell you he's not supposed to be in hospitality. He's supposed to be head coach at UCLA?
UCLA. I should have won my 7th national championship as the basketball coach. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
That was his plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. What happened? I didn't win enough games as a high school coach. You know, you have to win more than 3 and 4 games a year to move on and up. Oh, actually, no, to move up. To move on, they just fire you.
Right.
You know, that's what happened with me. You know, Annie, it was interesting you said you were smiling when answering the phone.
Oh, 1000%.
That's still real today, right? That hasn't changed.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
This is Annie speaking. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Everything is in how you move your mouth, and the tonality in how you deliver a message is everything.
Right. I'm gonna take this part of the show and put it in training. Smile, smile, smile. Okay, that's my rant of the show. I'm allowed one. I'm done. Thank you.
That was a mild rant by comparison. Awesome. So, as a business owner and operator, you're responsible for so many aspects. You're responsible for the culture of your companies. You're responsible for so many aspects of leadership, not just your own, but the people that you bring in to help you lead. What is it that you're looking for in the people that join your team? Like, what's your ideal team member?
I mean, honestly, that depends on the position we're hiring for. But I think ultimately, attitude has mostly everything to do with it. You know, you have to be proactive. You have to be willing. You have to be open. There's so many things that you learn on the job that are different. You know, every single job is a new experience. Everyone has standards in every single company they work at, right? The idea is to build on what you already know, not to just go exclusively by that. But you need to be proactive. You need to have a good attitude. You need to be willing to bring people together. And I think also there has to be a level of decorum amongst people. I'm not into the whole, I'm the boss, so, know your place sort of situation. But I think that a level of respect amongst peers is very important as well.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about this mentality? I know when I was coming up in hospitality, it's a hard business to be in, period. But there was very little conversation, if any conversation, about work-life balance, quality of life, etc. And now I'm seeing people demand higher quality of life. Like it was not uncommon for me to close at like 3:00 in the morning and have to be back to open the next day, right? And now we're seeing people say, no, this is unacceptable work conditions because this is not conducive to life. And the response that I remember people saying is, well, this is what I did to come up through the ranks. This is what I had to do. So you can do it too. Where do you stand on that? What are your thoughts?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I think that's a load of horse shit.
Okay.
I think balance is something you create within yourself based on priorities in life. If you think that balance is going out to dinner or Netflix and chilling or, taking vacations, guess what? You can do all of them, just not at the same time. That's what balance is. And you define what your balance is. If you think that you need to have 2 hours to doom scroll, 2 hours to go to the gym, 8 hours to go to 2 hours to doom scroll, 2 hours to go to gym, it's 7 hours to work, and then 2 hours in traffic, then you need to figure out what your priorities are. And then you decide, and do you want to go out till 2:00 in the morning? You need to decide what your priorities are in order to accomplish set goals, because you certainly can't do them on a daily basis. I do believe that as it pertains to earned income, that's a little bit different. But then again, you need to make yourself either indisposable or extremely valuable in order to generate the kind of money you think you deserve. Because wages are commensurate on experience and quality, not birth.
That's two pullouts from this episode that I'm going to be sharing with everybody. I almost cut you off, Annie, to say, preach it, say it again. Yes, folks need to hear that and embrace that. Thank you. Yeah, let's talk about it.
You're a lazy bum. You're not making $25 an hour. So that's what there is to it. And if you don't know how to use a computer, you're definitely not making $25 an hour. So get with it.
Get with it. Right on.
Ooh, right on. Leads us to the next thing I wanted to ask you about, which is also my favorite thing to chat with people about, your use of AI. I've heard many people be highly against Many people love it. Where do you stand? How do you use it every day, if you use it every day in your work life?
Okay, so I use it every day in my work life. It is a cornerstone of my daily practices and how I run my business. So I'm going to throw that out there. But also, I don't think it's just about AI. I think it's about technology in general. I think in today's day and age, when we all have a computer at our fingertips, in addition to everything else, like, it is our responsibility to be able to use this $1,100 device responsibly and properly. So spreadsheets, Google Docs, Dropboxes, any form of technology platform that makes your life easier, scheduling platforms for social media, AI. I don't believe AI is a search engine, people. That's what Google's for. AI is a tool. AI is an assistant. It is not meant to write your papers. It is meant for you to compare apples and oranges to one another so that you can create your own idea and perspective of what you think it should be. So it's definitely a tool. It's something that allows me to analyze my business. It's something that allows me to streamline the process of doing things. So, for example, I love to produce events. I love to put on activations, but the nature of putting on an activation or producing an event or something as simple as a BEO in-house has logistics behind it. And so rather than me having to type out the logistics myself, even though I know them by memory, like the back of my hand, I make sure to plug it into my robot based on what the specific conversations and emails were with my client and say, this is what I need to do so that I can have a proper run of show and go over detail by detail with all of my employees in the most basic kind of way so everyone understands what we're doing. So it can be used. I also use it for my calendar. So I have a running task list of duties and I integrate my Gmail with my robot and say, all right, do time blocks of my calendar for the next 3 days based on this, and this, and send me the iCals, and I upload the iCals to it. So I think that people are not utilizing it correctly or underutilizing it. And I don't necessarily believe that it is a replacement of a human being. I think it is properly used by people who possess critical and analytical thinking and they want to 10x themselves. That's what I believe the true purpose of AI is.
On two of the other shows that the Leon Thomas Group produces, the conversations in the last couple of weeks has been around AI. And many of the guests on those shows have said, I don't use AI. I don't like AI. And here's one of the reasons was because I like to use my mind. I like to critically think. And I'm going, no, AI actually helps you do that if you're using the right tools, if you're using it the right way, and if you're being responsible with this $1,100 device. Right?
Everything I just said, you just reiterated. Now, my next question to you is, how old are they?
Oh, they are from 35 to 50.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have expected them to be on the older scale.
Yeah.
I do believe that, again, just like everything, there are ranges of success by the way we use it. I use it as a way to 10x myself. I use it deeply to do comparative analysis of my peers and my colleagues in competition, whether it's right next to me or whether it's regionally or in another metropolitan, another A market, And again, it's not meant for me to say, hey, I'm doing this in Miami and she's doing that in Seattle. Let me take her idea. No. It's about saying, hey, what's the market in Seattle doing? What's cool over there? Is there something from Seattle that is that resonates with the Miami market? And how can I apply it in our Miami kind of way? So it really is, it's not like, oh, let me just steal your idea. It's about tung, 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 tung. And it's really about evolving it and hashing it out in a way that resonates with our local market. So it is about 10xing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
And I'm sorry, and I'm going to add this also. In addition to, I mentioned all of these brands and all these businesses that I oversee. I don't have an assistant, folks. I do this on my own. And yes, I have teams of people, but I don't have like little mini Annie next to me that's like, doing anything. Like my robot's my mini Annie. And that allows me to streamline and condense my time so that I can delegate what needs to get done to the teams I have.
I think that's fantastic. I love how you explained how to use this technology. And whenever you come back to my class, I want you to say exactly that, because it's just perfect. Leon, you were mentioning training, and I was thinking about AI. I use it all the time. I love it. I find it, I don't train people currently in my role as a professor per se, but I find it very helpful in explaining things in a variety of ways. Like, this is how I would explain something, and then I'll plug it into the AI and say, okay, now explain this to someone who is not a speaker, for example. Or how do I explain this to my kids? Explain this to a second grader, right? And it really helps me to come up with creative ways to increase the effectiveness of my communication. And I think that that's another way that this could be used, not to replace the trainer, but to help the trainer reach more people, right?
Absolutely. I think back to when most hospitality training was done either in person, right, classroom, or the days of the floppy disk and answer the questions on the computer, right? And as that technology came, some of us that were training then said, our jobs are going to go away, they're not going to have us. And guess what? They hired more trainers, right? We were still there, and we still had to be able to make a connection with those that we were educating. The people part isn't going to go away. What I did notice, though, is that those who didn't stay up with technology, those that didn't continue to learn, those were the folks that were no longer around.
You become the dinosaur.
Yeah.
You become the dinosaur if you choose to stay analog. I mean, and I'm a creative soul too, but there's a beauty about being analog, but not in the workspace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Miranda, do you think it's time?
Yes.
All right. Annie, it is now time. Well, first pretend you have a pen in your hand, right? And hold it up here to the camera. And we want you to give your signature, because it's now time for the 2 signature questions of the show. There are actually 3 signature questions. I just like the music so much in the video where it is. Well, I just don't want to change it. There are actually 3 questions. Question number 1. Have you ever had a Maryland crab cake?
I mean, purportedly so. Never in Maryland, but supposedly a Maryland style, yes.
Maryland style.
I have nothing to compare it to because I've never been to Maryland.
Oh, we've got to get you to Maryland. We've got to make that happen. Yeah. So, all right. So that came up because in pre-show conversation a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was, someone was in Kansas City and said they had a Maryland crab cake, and I said, "Shut up! No, you didn't. Not in Kansas City, you didn't." So that became a question.
Okay.
Right? All right. Question number 2. How about bean pie? Have you ever had bean pie? Bean pie.
What is that?
That was my response too.
I mean, is it like sweet beans? Like, what is that?
It's navy beans.
Okay.
Made in the same consistency as a sweet potato pie or a pumpkin pie.
Apparently, it's very popular and a lot of people know about it. I've never heard of this. I've never seen it in person.
That's a hard.
Miranda once compared it to Bigfoot. She said, "I've heard of it, but I've never seen it."
So I don't know if it's real.
Bean
Good.
pie is real. I was hoping to have one available today, and I went to my, it just doesn't sound right. I went to my bean pie guy. All right, it's Safeway, but it sounds
Your
better to say
dealer.
bean pie guy. Yeah, I went to my bean pie dealer. They didn't have any. They were sold out.
Oh,
Safeway was sold out of pies yesterday.
you're gonna have to make one.
I wrote a letter. I sent them a letter.
What about Goldbelly?
Goldbelly, what's that?
It's a food aggregator that ships food nationally.
Oh, yes, yes. Someone else did told me about that.
I'm
Thank
writing
you
that
for
down.
the reminder. Yes, Goldbelly. Yes.
Really, if they have it, you could send me one, and then I'll give you my honest opinion.
Right?
Right on. Yeah, that'll be good. Goldbelly. In fact, someone wanted me to order something. My friend ordered something from Papados on
yeah.
Goldbelly. Yeah, I do remember that now. Right on. Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. All right.
My question is going to be the easiest one that you'll have. And that is, what piece of advice or pearl of wisdom, affirmation, what would you give to your 20-year-old self?
I mean, shit. My 20-year-old self. I have forever been quite the fire starter. So I think, like, first things first, at 25, you definitely don't know everything. Experience is the usage of knowledge, and so skill is also a muscle. At 25, we don't know anything. It's important for us to really learn our craft and learn how to do things properly and have a high level of standard and execution. And that is only going to come over time. So your 20s is your time to just literally put your head down and eat shit. Just learn. Put your head down and learn. And if that is through information, if that is through imitation and emulation, if that is through going to do some sort of stage somewhere, even if it is for free, it is your opportunity to really become a sponge and learn, so you can take that information and that knowledge in order to apply it and develop that muscle that's called experience and skill. That would be like my number one. And also, it's the time where you can afford to take a little bit of abuse, because that will allow you to say, you know what, I accept this, I do not accept that, I stand for this, I don't stand for that. And you are able to develop yourself as a human being and have your boundaries and determine and express to people what your principles and fundamentals, what's important to you. So those kind of all go kind of hand in hand. Definitely, it's really, because we get caught up in this, in the gossip wheel. It's really important not to spit up. This industry is very small, and it only gets smaller the higher you get in it. And if you perform at a very high level, your industry becomes much, much, much smaller. So never spit up, because it's always going to come back down. And I can tell you that from personal experience. And so I try to stay away from that rumor mill as much as possible. And also, like I said before, technology is everything. Business is evolving and changing. And if you don't know how to use a computer, and you don't know how to use your iPhone, and if you don't know how to use different technology platforms that make your life easier, you are going to get left behind. And so that's the difference between being creative, a white collar, or a blue collar worker. It's your prerogative. It's up to you.
This is all fantastic. See, Leon, this is why I told you she's one of my favorite people in the world to have come into the classroom.
Yeah, I see it. I see why.
And thank you so much for being here. Oh, before we let you go, is there anything that you're working on that you want to shout out that you didn't share yet? Is there anything to brag about you?
So we are in the middle of launching several projects at the moment. We just launched a partnership at Regatta Grove with the Grove Bay Hospitality folks. We have a Fukia EXP project that's working right there, literally like 2 weeks old. We're going to open our first brick and mortar location for Faux Show in downtown on Flagler come January, February. And we're also delving into the worlds of like CPG. So like prepared goods, like we have a sauce line in the works, our biscuit line, and some prepared foods.
Amazing. Amazing. Yay. I love seeing good people succeed doing good things. So that's fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love coming to talk to your students.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for being with us. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, great. Take care. Wow, Miranda, you were right. Just a lot of information. I love the way the show started with the basics. Make sure you're smiling,
Yes.
right, on the phone, and then even up to modern day. Even not that smiling is not modern day, but the use of technology and the importance. And don't be lazy. And, oh yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah,
Awesome.
I love it.
Another great show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And remember, you can contact Miranda. You can contact me if you would like to be a guest on Checking In. Take care, everybody.